Fox 2's Jessica Dupnack joining us live. And Jessica, that is so troubling because someone could have said something sooner and prevented possibly something from happening.
We had a lot of questions, Taryn, for Farmington Public Schools. We would have asked them, had we been granted an interview with anybody from the schools? We asked twice, got denied twice, and actually they referred us to a statement. So we went to the school board, talked to the president by phone. She referred us to the superintendent. That was obviously a dead end. It's pretty amazing that no one will answer some of these tough questions, given the allegations here and the cover-up.
I was horrified, obviously, and concerned.
It's the reaction of parents we talked to all day Tuesday, nervous to show their faces, worried about fallout from Farmington Public Schools in the wake of this scandal.
I hate to say it, but I wasn't necessarily surprised, just because there has been a culture of covering things up in this district for quite a long time.
First, bombshell allegations against the Farmington High School boys basketball junior varsity coach last week. Detroit Police Special Victims Unit is investigating him for sexual assaults, multiple against his own players. Sources tell us he'd invite players for overnight study sessions at his Detroit home. Then they'd take a terrible sexual turn. Kids just 14 and 15 years old. A day after Fox 2 broke that story, more shock in the district. 3 other coaches fired for allegedly having some knowledge of these purported sexual encounters and choosing not to report them.
These are the people that are supposed to keep our kids safe. And if they're not willing to report something as egregious as what has been going on, then they have no business being in coaching or in the education field at all.
Of those fired, varsity head coach Derek McDowell, an illustrious coaching career in our area, and as an assistant basketball coach at Eastern and Central Michigan universities. Farmington Public Schools said this in part. To be clear, the other coaches are not accused of improper conduct with players. Rather, they did not meet the required threshold as mandatory reporters to ensure the safety and well-being of student athletes. The JV coach at the center of it all has been a coach for more than a decade, which could lead to offshoot investigations outside the one underway by Detroit police.
When we have a situation like this, we really need to think about how it happened and how we can prevent it from happening in another school, with another sport, with other coaches.
The JV coach at the center of all of this, we are not naming him at this point because he has not been formally charged at this point. Now, he was fired last week, the school says, as soon as they learned of those allegations. He's also been forbidden to enter any of the properties owned by Farmington Public Schools. Reporting in Farmington, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
Jessica, in regards to these other coaches, how was the district alerted to them knowing at least something about what allegedly happened to these students? And where does the investigation stand right now with DPD?
So as soon as the criminal investigation was launched, simultaneously the schools launched their own internal investigation. That was last week. And after our report yesterday, I would imagine that spurred some movement with that internal investigation. And then we learned today that those 3 other coaches were fired. We did talk to a spokesperson with DPD. They said their detectives are actively working the case, getting it ready to submit to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office for potential charges.
Well, sounds like they are on it. Thanks, Jessica, for that really, though, troubling update.